Hey guys, it's Jen with the Nifty 50 Lady, and I am bringing you another Back to Basics Saving in the Kitchen episode. Today I am going to show you how simple it is to freeze garden green beans. I think that it's really important if you can get your hands on local produce right now, especially in the summer, to be able to save that and use it and basically save it for the winter and fall months when you're not actually having those types of food groups sometimes, or even able to get your hands on it at those points. So it's really simple to do, and I found that a lot of people are scared of it. And freezing something is very healthy because it does retain the nutrients, sometimes even a little bit better than canning. And I found canning to be very intense work, number one, and I'm super lazy. And number two, I find that canning it requires a lot of different things. So I have tried to find a way to freeze anything that I possibly can. And today I just want to show you the quick process of freezing green beans. So let's get started. What you're going to need is your green beans, obviously, and what I do is well, this is a little big. I snap the ends of my green beans, and then I break them. This one isn't breaking very easily, so I'll have to do that when I have two hands. But I break them into about 2 inches pieces, which is kind of what you would get in a can of green beans. And I really don't mind about those types of green beans. They taste just the same. And you're going to need a boiling pot of water, and this is going to be the process we do is blanch them. So we're going to cook them for just a couple of minutes, and then we are going to transfer them into a cold bowl of water, which stops the cooking process and leaves them perfect to freeze. Once you freeze these and you grab them out of your freezer, what you're going to do then is cook them in any way. The only thing that you can't do with the green beans then is actually roast them, which I know is some people's favorite, but get that all in the summer. But you can put these in any type of soups. You can cook them on the stove by themselves. You can cook them in the oven. They're just really not roastable. So let's go ahead and go through the process of it, and I will show you how I freeze them later. Alright, so we are going to slowly add our green beans to the pot. The object is to keep the boil going. I do a very lousy job at this, I won't lie. It's still going. A lot of people just dump them in and let it come back up to boil, but I find if you can keep it going, it makes the process easier. That's not terrible. It's still kind of going. Right, then what we are going to do is we are going to wait 3 minutes. So it's 2:33. I'm at 2:36. We are going to transfer these to here. One thing that I wanted to point out, we have just a little bit under a minute left, is if you notice they were really kind of a dull green, but as you are blanching these, they become like a vibrant green, and you know that that is basically the process that we want to happen. What I use to transfer them, because you don't want to dump the hot water into the cold water, because then that will defeat the purpose. And let's go ahead and get some lovely cold water. I also got some corn today that I'm going to freeze, and I have a ton tomatoes from the garden. It's just like right now is the time. Like everything is overproducing in gardens, especially if you had a very good garden. So 2:36, guys. We are going to take these wonderful green beans out. We're going to let the water drain and transfer them to the cool water. And that stops the cooking completely. And then we let them sit in there for a couple of minutes. There's always stragglers. Always stragglers here. Is there any more? I gotta get all the goodness because I don't want to waste any. These are like so good to have garden, like anything from the garden in the middle of winter when everything that's in season is like tomatoes and rhubarb. It's so nice to have something from the garden. All right, let's turn my water off. All right, so we have a towel here and we're going to put our cold green beans onto the towel. And you want to dry them, pat them dry, because if they have any type of excess moisture on them when you freeze them, they're going to produce ice crystals. And the ice crystals then kind of, I think they taste that more freezer burnt than what you're wanting. So any type of excess wetness or condensation, anything like that will produce that, and then freezer burnt is so common whenever you have that type of thing. So we're going to throw these out onto here and pat them dry and then bag them up. So I always like to just kind of lay them out into a single layer here and just bring my towel over and pat, 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 pat until they're just nice and dry. And then what I do is, it's obviously, I'm sure everybody does this when they're doing it, but you just want to put the date on them. I think you can tell what green beans are, so I don't put the contents. I don't label it green beans. And the date, I use these before I would even think about them expiring or, you know, going bad. So I don't find it like absolutely necessary to put the date, but just for using the first ones that you canned or froze first and then using those, just that's the only reason I actually write them on here, because I do believe in like a first in first out method, or FIFO, if you're all, I guess, food prep or even accounting, which obviously I know all about that. But I'm just going to throw these in this bag and then show you what they look like, put them in my freezer, and that is how simple it is, guys. Well, here they are, my half, it's basically a half a bag for me is what does my family. I can throw this in a crock pot meal, like I said, just cook them up by themselves or add them to something that I'm making. And this usually is a great yield for my family. And these just go in my freezer. Now, one thing I have never invested in a food saver. I think I may actually ask for one for Christmas, because I'm just finding myself doing so much more in that area that I think it would be beneficial for me to have it. I'm buying meat from a local butcher and just doing a lot more things, like I said, that a food saver would come in handy for, and I know would protect the time that I've invested and the money that I've invested. So I'm thinking about it. Let me know in the comment if you guys love yours, if you have one, if you know any good deals on any. And I hope that you will try this, because it's very simple. And I also have another video coming to you about tomatoes, because right now, as you see, tomatoes are just, there's a plethora of them everywhere in everybody's garden. So check with your neighbors, your farmers market, your grocery stores. Get your hand on regular green beans and freeze them. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Bye, guys.